Hello, team. Hello, team. Hello, team. Today, we're going to talk about some of the new laws and new restrictions that govern us. So pay attention. I may ask questions later. I'm just going to wait a minute, let everybody get logged on. So bear with me really quickly. And then you guys aren't going to see my face, but I'm going to be talking to you. Why? Because what I need is on my phone. That's how I'm talking to you today. So good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Just a quick reminder, I will be in the LA area on Thursday next week. I'm actually going to be teaching the Lunch and Learn with Agla at Koreatown. You guys give me just 1 second. Let me get one more in here. All right, here we go. Okay, so on Thursday, and I don't know what day of the week that is. I mean, I don't know what the date is on Thursday. Hang on, you guys. Somebody's asking me, what time's class? Okay, here we go. I'm ready now. Okay, Lorena needs me to get her in. Hang on. I guess she didn't get an invite, so hang on.
Patty, it's November 7th at Agla at 11.
Thank you.
12 to 1:30.
Thank you, you guys. 12 to
November
1:30,
7th.
November 7th. Thank you for keeping my life straight, you guys. Arlene, you're my hero. I wouldn't know where I'm coming or going if it wasn't for some of you keeping me straight. So thank you for that. So please sign up for that if you're an AGLA member. It's free. I'm talking to you guys on how to prepare yourselves for court. It is something you definitely need to be paying attention to right now in today's society. And I'm giving you some big tips on how to avoid court altogether. Here comes the team. Okay, everybody's coming in now. Okay, here, we're getting them all. All right, we got some new laws coming at us, hitting us, attacking us, if you will. Some new rules, regulations, restrictions, so on and so forth. Yep, it's at the AGLA office in Koreatown. I love you, Arlene, on November 7th, and it is a lunch and learn. So if you're an AGLA member and you sign up for free, you're gonna get lunch served to you. It's great, and you're gonna get education from me. If you're not an AGLA member, I want to say it's like 25 bucks. It's not very expensive. I'm sorry, I keep kicking my tripod and that's got to be making you guys seasick. I apologize. Let's try over there. My legs aren't long enough. Sorry, I cracked myself up. Sometimes I do that. But now I can't kick it. It's too far away from me. My legs aren't that long. So we shouldn't have a problem anymore. What can I say? I am a blonde. All right. So we're going to talk about new legislation, new rules, and you guys are going to start throwing questions at me. And I already know this is coming, so be ready. Okay. So if you don't have a notepad, you're going to want to go get one. I'm not playing around. And a lot of the things that we've been doing as process and procedure just became law. What, Patty? Yeah, so pay attention. And I'm going to look really quick and just make sure I got a couple people in here that I need in here. Roadrunner girls. Okay, my girls are in here. All right, just making sure. And I got my other peeps in here. Okay, here we go. You guys pay attention. I may ask questions later. And here comes Ronally. Okay, hang on. I'm going to back up really quick before I get into the new legislation. I want to talk to you about something, okay? And I know Ronally is going to help me with that, but just hear me out. All right, you guys? If all of a sudden you find yourself faced with an eviction, we now know that that's going to be a $60,000 to $80,000 bill. As soon as we say the E word, eviction word, we need to know that that is going to become a huge expense. Why is Patty putting such a high price tag on an eviction? An eviction doesn't cost $60,000 or $80,000. Bullshit. How much rent are you losing? That's loss, right? How much are you paying your attorney? That's loss, right? How much is your cash for keys? Because that's a loss too, right? Oh, now I get it. Big picture, 60 to 80 grand. We don't want to sign up for that right away, right? So we got to keep that in mind because Ronalee's here to help us. We have a problem as landlords, and I know I have it too. And I don't have one handy, thank God. But I think I need to put a new sticker on my credit card that says misuse of this card is hazardous to your wealth. Why am I saying that? You and I both know that when we have to do an eviction, the very first thing we do is whip out a credit card to hand to our attorney. At 27% interest, what are we doing? If you could take a second out on your house for $100,000, and I'm just talking out loud, at 11% interest, which is less than half of what you'd be paying on a credit card, you'd be winning. Yes? Oh, Patty, but I don't want to pull a second. That's a lot of hard work. Can you hear yourself? Just hold on a second. If I do a second, instead of using my credit card, I still have my credit cards available in case of an oh crap. But if I log up my credit card, I don't have any room for anything else. I'm sinking my ship without trying. Ah. Ronalee, can you unmute yourself really quickly and just give us a quick example of the difference between credit card interest versus your Save My Asset loan interest and what we're saving over the course of 5 years in that interest rate, maybe even?
Oh, yes. So the average credit card holder now is about at least 7,000 to 20,000. And let me remind you, it's at least 24.99%. And it will take you at least 30 years to pay for that. That's a house if you're only making minimum payments. But if you have a Save My Asset loan, I'm still in the works with it, but if we take a second on your loan, on your house with your equity, your highest is probably 12.99%. We can go as low as 7.99, depending on your debt to income and other factors that I would have to see. But over the life of the loan, you're going to either be paying thousands, or you're going to be paying hundreds of thousands or just thousands. And if you need more money, you can use your credit card, or you can come back and we can renegotiate and get maybe a third or a personal loan. So the best thing about what I was telling Patty last week is I was speaking to another lender, this program, and if you don't have equity,
Wait, you guys, please pay attention to what she's about to say, because this is priceless for us little mom and pops. Okay.
Yes.
Pay attention.
So if you do not have equity, okay, you have no equity in your property, you haven't been paid, from your tenant for a while, you're going through eviction court, we could do a personal loan and I can fund you as easy as 3 business days. So I would just need income and your credit score. That's it. A personal loan up to $250,000. Now, isn't that fantastic? You don't need equity. As long as you use it for your property, I can fund you. Yeah.
I gotta be careful. I gotta be careful what I say, but this is what I'm trying to tell you guys. You have other options. It doesn't all have to go on a credit card. Okay, there's other options. And I'm trying to grab a hold of Ronalee so she can teach you what those other options are, so that you're not giving way too much money to Citibank. Okay, I'm just saying. I like
Bank of
Citibank.
America Bank of America loves your money. What they do is they take your interests and they loan it to other people for higher interests. So it's up to you. You could be your own lender, or you can be your own, slave to your
I'm just
finance.
trying to help you guys see with clarity, not through a tunnel. I'm giving you more options by bringing Ronalee into the picture. We have a question from Arlene. Hang on real quick. Let me see if I can't pull that up. Patty, this is a question for me. Can you do it if the house is paid off and there's no mortgage?
Yes. We could do it two ways. Either we get a small loan and we have different options. It all depends on your income and FICO, either personal or a business. As long as it's as long as it's done as a business or rehab work, I can do that. I can help you. Do not whip out that 24.99%. Do it with half, okay? And that's the highest is 12.99. So if you have at least decent credit, which is 650, I can work with you. Do not whip out that credit because you are just making the big guys who are the Bank of Americas of the world more money. Let me save you from interest payments. Let me save your asset.
Let her save you. It's just keeping your fluid assets fluid. That's what we're trying to do here. I hope that makes sense to you guys. By keeping your fluid assets fluid, you keep all of that credit available. That way, let me give you an example, okay? You can't raise your rent. I already know because you're an unincorporated LA County. You can't do it any higher. And there you sit. Your rent's $1,200. Now your water heater goes out. It's $1,500 to repair. What do? You whip out a credit card. What are you doing? What are you doing? If you're going to go as far as doing that, and we're going to take out a loan, let's prepare to do some bigger repairs. Let's prepare to have a bigger cushion to land on in the event of an, oh, holy crap, so that we still have that room available on our credit card and we haven't leveraged our assets without thinking about it first. That's all. That's all I'm trying to put in your head. Any questions for Ronali regarding the SMA loan? Because you guys are more than welcome. So she can do a personal loan. She can do a second. She can do a third. She can do a first. She can do a refinance. She can do an SMA loan. Help me out, Ronali, because I know there's more things here. She can do a HELOC. She can do...
For HELOCs, I just spoke to a banker on Monday. And this is from US Bank. This is a banker. This will take probably a little bit longer, like 6 to 8 weeks. But his interest rates, get this, are 6.25%. Does anybody like that for HELOC?
Hello.
Hello.
We're over here.
So let me help you guys with my contacts. And whatever problem you have, I can solve it. I'm pretty sure I could solve it financially. So don't whip out those credit cards. Be smart.
Don't whip out your credit cards. Talk to Ronali instead. I'm trying to give you guys another option. And I'm going to tell you right now, if I had to do a major repair, I had to do an eviction, I had to upgrade my electrical panel, I'd be pulling a loan out on my house. I wouldn't be racking up my credit cards. I'd be keeping those in the event of an, oh, holy crap.
Yeah. With the personal loans, you'll have a couple of options and you'll know. We do a soft credit pull and you're going to know in I want to say 5 minutes, whatever you're approved for. 5 minutes, you guys. And you can have the cash on hand.
Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. When
Yeah.
I bought my very first house, you guys are going to laugh at this, okay? The broker that was helping me buy the house, because at the time I was only a sales agent, I was young. I knew a lot about property management. I knew this much about sales, okay? So I had my boss, who was a broker and a friend of mine, represented me in the sales. When you're buying your first house and you don't understand how all the lending stuff works, you actually really realize it when they're asking you for 5 years of income tax refunds and you have to go produce those 5 years of income tax refunds. And I will never forget it because those are my important documents. So they went in my storage unit first. And all my furniture and everything else went on top of them. So when I needed those documents to close escrow, I had to unpack my storage unit to get to my 5 years of income tax refunds so that I could send them to the lender. Oops, my bad. Nobody ever told me. My thinking was, those are important documents. Put them in first and put all your stuff around it so nobody will steal them, right? No, leave them out so you can get to them. I buried them and had to go dig them back out. It was horrible. Oops, my bad. But I would
yeah,
take a
now
loan
with the-
over a credit card. And back in
Yeah.
the day, my lender told me, Patty, I want you to take all your credit cards and I want you to put them in a bowl of water and put it in the freezer. And I'm like, why? Because I paid for a concert ticket for something with a credit card because I bought it online and immediately paid it off. He's like, you can't do this while you're buying a house. You just can't. And I'm like, why? I paid it off. He's like, it doesn't matter. It shows that chart. And I'm like, okay. So he's like, Patty, you don't understand how this works. Do me a big favor. Take all your credit cards, put them in a bowl of water, put it in the freezer, okay? And then leave it there so that if you want to use a credit card, you're going to have to go melt that bowl of ice, and that's going to give you time to think about it, because if you do anything, it's going to mess up your loan. Don't touch anything. So what Ronnalee just told me is she can fund faster than I can defrost.
You got 5 minutes. You could put your name, income, you know, where you live. I don't need equity
So what I'm saying
to
is,
do a personal loan.
faster than I could defrost the bowl of credit cards, she can approve you. And you don't want to use the credit cards, not at that interest rate. So keep that in mind, okay, guys? Any more questions? I'm going to move on to our new laws and what we need to be working on. Are these?
One quick question for Ronnalee.
Hold
Yes,
on, go
Arlene.
ahead. And there's another one too, so go ahead.
What about like if you don't need anything now, but you wanted like a line of credit on your equity?
A HELOC,
Is that what
home
that is?
equity line of credit.
Mhm.
How much do you need, Arlene?
I don't really, at the moment, I don't need anything, but I've been
Okay.
talking to Patty that I might need 30 or 40,000 for some electrical work.
Okay. With something like that, I would suggest like a small personal. I wouldn't, if you're going to need anywhere from 80,000 to 200,000, we could do a HELOC. Depending on if you want to use your equity in your home or if you just want to use your income as
I see.
collateral.
Okay. I'll
Okay.
give you a call next week or so we could just talk about options.
Of course,
Okay, great.
yeah. Yeah.
And
Thanks a lot.
we have a couple of other questions. Are these HELOCs or HE loans? They could be a second, a third, a HELOC, or a personal loan. There's many different ways. Why does someone always call me in the middle of Widget's way? I have no idea. I'm sorry, you guys. I just put it on silent.
Yeah.
Are these personal loans or real estate loans? Either or, she can do both. In other words, I just got you guys a new lender that you can deal with. She does home loans, personal loans, HELOCs, first mortgage, second mortgage, third. Help me out. What am I forgetting, Ronnalee?
Commercial loans. So if you
Commercial
if you have a
loans.
$3 million building, I can get that for you quickly in 5 business days. I just need a rent roll.
She can fund your loan faster than your legal counsel can schedule a date for trial.
You
Keep that
guys-
in mind if you're getting raked over the coals in a jury trial. Stop using your credit card and use your home's equity instead. It's much better for your wealth. Misuse of your credit card is hazardous to your wealth. Right, Ronnalee?
Of course. That's the very first thing that everyone does is whip out their credit card. I'm like, I get it. It's quick and fast. But you do pay the penalties and the interest for it.
Yeah, so just keep that in mind. I'm trying to give you guys other options, other ways to go. and keep those tunnels wide open so we see all of our choices instead of getting stuck in one rabbit hole. That's all I'm trying to do. All right, I'm going to move on to the new laws that are affecting us, you guys, and bear with me because my screen is going to turn off because I am using my phone as a reference. So forgive me, I didn't have time to rewrite what I needed to. And now, of course, I don't see what I want. So we're going to go on a little happy hunt here, and then I'll find it, and we'll all be happy campers. There we go. Here it is. Da-da-da. We have new legislation looming over us, just so everyone is aware. And it's not pretty for some people, but for most of us, we've already been doing it anyway. Assembly Bill 2347 extends time to respond to an unlawful detainer from 5 days to 10 days. Patty, what are you talking about? If you personally serve a tenant, they have 5 days to file an answer. If you don't, they have 10 days. If you subserve, I think they have 15 days. With that being said, all they're trying to do is add more time to the person to file an answer. I don't see this as being a hiccup for you guys. Most of you file a prejudgment claim in your evictions anyway, and because of that, you have to allow additional time for them to file the answer for the unknown occupants in order to cover that. So with that said, AB 2347 will extend the time to file an answer for a tenant that was personally served in the lawsuit from 5 days to 10 days. And the reality is we've already been doing that. So don't let that affect you or freak you out. Know that that's business days, not calendar days. Okay. Number 2, and this is the one that's going to make you guys freak out. So pay attention. Applicant screening fees. It's Assembly Bill 2493. Everybody got that? And my pen just ran out of ink, just so y'all know. And I'm not going to have a meltdown. I'm just going to reach over and grab a different pen, and oh, look, it has ink. My day has been saved. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm a weirdo, okay? You haven't figured that out yet. Okay, this is regarding applicant screening fees. You guys pay attention. Okay? This bill allows a landlord to charge an application screening fee only if the landlord considers and approves applicants in the order received. You may not charge a fee unless the applicant is considered, and not charge a screening fee when no unit is available for rent. It creates an obligation to furnish a copy of the screening report to the applicant within 7 to 10 days, and they no longer need to do it upon request. What did Patty say in simple English? You guys paying attention? Let me write this assembly bill for you, okay? You can only charge an application fee if you're taking your applicants in the order received, first come, first serve. You can no longer charge a screening fee if you're accepting all the applications and then choosing the best one. Only first come, first served. And that copy of the credit report, you're going to have to give that to the tenant within 7 to 10 days. And it's no longer if they request it, it's going to have to be that way. Okay, so first come, first serve, you get to charge screening fee, obviously, unless they're federally funded, which would be Section 8 and BASH. Okay. And Arlene, can you please be my moderator and let me know if somebody pops up with a question, because I can't watch that and read this, and I need help is what I'm saying. I need another arm, you guys. So Arlene, please help me be my moderator. Let me know if questions come up while I'm talking about these assembly bills.
Okay.
Thank you. If anybody has
there was one. Can you just repeat what bill number that was?
Applicant screening fees, Assembly Bill 2493. This bill would allow a landlord to charge an application screening fee only if the landlord considers and approves applicants in the order received. They may not charge a fee unless the applicant is considered and not charged a screening fee when no unit is available for rent. And this creates an obligation to furnish a copy of the credit report to the applicant within 7 to 10 days and is no longer upon request. So in other words, you're sending them a letter saying you're denied and here's a copy of your credit report, not here's how you get one. Here's a copy. So different process and procedure is going to click in right there, okay? Especially when you're denying an applicant.
Patty, two quick questions. Number
Okay.
one, if we approve them, do we still have to give them copies within 7 to 10 days?
I don't see why. Okay, and let me explain. Look at it as, and it's slightly different because it's not consumer debt, but it's kind of the same thing. Think about you applying for a credit card. Think about you applying for a loan from a bank. Once you're approved, do they have to give you a copy of that report?
No.
No, but one's available upon request. Exactly. So sometimes when we talk out loud, we answer our own question.
Okay.
Okay.
And then my second question, I know that on Section 8, we don't do credit reports anymore. But we still charge the fee, the screening fee, because we still ask for them to do a full application and then we do a background check and all of that. Is that not supposed to be?
That is correct. You absolutely cannot charge them.
Okay, so Section 8 has to do.
You have to, hold on, let me quote the law and then you'll understand what I'm telling you.
Okay,
You have to screen a Section 8 or federally funded applicant based on their ability to pay you and not on
Right.
their credit worthiness.
right. I don't pull their credit anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, but I do background checks and.
Why? Why? Wait, hold on. Let me ask a question. Why are you doing a background check?
I do a background check to make sure that if anything pops up, that they have to give the proper notice, like if they're, if they are a sex offender or anything like that.
And if they're a sex offender, can you deny them?
No,
If they're a felon, can you deny them?
no,
Why do we care about their background?
we don't. It's just, I guess, part of, yeah.
Ding,
Yeah.
ding. Okay, I wanted you to hear yourself so you understood what are you doing? You're running a criminal background that you can't use. You get
Yeah.
what I'm saying? You can't use it to deny them.
Yeah.
Felons are a protected class in the state of California.
Mhm.
So stop spending the money. You're wasting time and money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On Section 8. When it comes to Section 8, you're wasting time and money.
So Section 8 is, we just do an application and nothing else.
And you base them on their ability to pay.
Right, of course. On the application, send me, your ability to pay, send me your landlord information where you were at before, and that's it.
Pretty much, yeah. It's
Okay.
disgusting. And as we get further into what we're talking about today, you might throw up in the back of your mouth just a little bit, okay?
Okay.
Hey, at least
Okay.
we're honest with each other, guys.
Yeah.
Don't laugh. All right, next
Okay.
assembly bill.
Hold on one second. You've got
Okay.
another question.
Thank you,
And I
Arlene,
also
for
have a quick-
helping me.
Yeah, and I also have a quick question. What about the tenants, prospective tenants that come in with their own credit report? How do you?
You still
guess
have
you don't-
to accept their
you still
credit
have to-
report.
Do you have to run one so that if you deny, you show them yours?
I'm
I
going
don't
to tell
know.
you guys something right now, okay? I don't care what they hand you. If they hand you a credit report, here's my opinion. All that means
It's
to me
toilet paper. Yeah.
is you can't charge them. But I'm still running a credit report at my own expense to make sure they're not a liar, pants on fire. And that's actually their credit report and they didn't Photoshop it. I mean, we're in the day of AI technology, right? Anything can be recreated. Anything, any document, okay? So for me, myself, and I'm going to run that credit report to make sure that that person is who they say they are, even if I'm paying for it. Does that
Right,
make
but
sense to you?
No, I understand that, but
The
according
big-
to this,
I know.
you're saying after 7 days, so would you provide that to them?
Absolutely, I'd provide them a copy of their credit report if I ran it within 7 days. It's now the law that we have to do it first come, first serve and give them a copy of their credit report.
Okay. All right, Ronald has a question.
Okay,
Okay.
go ahead.
It's, when does it start? I guess that's AB 2493. And is there a max amount of charge fee?
There is a maximum amount of charge fee. I'd have to look that up. I want to say the maximum that you can charge is just right around, and I'm erring on the side of caution. I want to say it's $56 and change, but the number I have in my head is $54.94. That is last year's amount, not this year's amount, but it's less than you can charge now. So I'm having you err on caution if you absolutely need the dollar amount. The going rate in the industry is between $30 and $40. If you're over that, you're not going to get many applicants. If you're asking a $60 screening fee, a $55 screening fee, that's expensive. I mean, if you apply for one house on Saturday and one house on Sunday, you, the tenant, just spent $100, right? Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, somebody else tried to call me, so I was worried that it didn't happen.
Also, she had asked, when is the effective date?
The effective date, you guys should just be implementing this stuff now. I can look, these are assembly bills. Dan told me that they had already passed, or in lieu of passing. I know for a fact one of them is up for vote in November, but the best thing that I could tell you is start doing it now, implement it now. And the reason that I'm telling you to implement this right now, even though it may not be the law, I can tell you it's the law. Does that make sense? And the reason I'm able to tell you that it's gonna be the law is because it benefits tenants, it helps tenants, and this is right in their wheelhouse. And we've been doing this in corporate America for decades. And when we go a little bit further, you're gonna understand what I'm talking about, because we're not done yet, folks. We still got 4 more bills to talk about. You understand? Okay, we're just on the 3rd one. If these don't become law, they should be this way in your business practice anyway. Okay, you should be taking your applications first come, first serve. Okay, it's the best business practice. It's the easiest way to keep you out of a discriminatory lawsuit. The reason Fair Housing made this a guideline for the past decade was to keep landlords out of frivolous lawsuits for discrimination. And if it's the system they designed to keep you from discriminating, why not follow it? Now look at it. Now they're making it the law, so you have to do it that way, because too many people are trying to run things in their own direction and they're breaking rules because of it. Okay. So let's go to the next one. This is Assembly Bill 2579. This bill extends your deadline for the first inspection of your balcony inspections to 1 year. So instead of us having to have them done by January 1st, 2025, it's giving us an extension to January 1st, 2026. Okay. So that has officially been extended. Dan verified that when I saw him on Thursday. So that has been extended to 2026. Credit reporting, you guys pay attention to this. Part of this is already in play with low income housing. Okay, this is already a law. It has been for the past 3 years. I want to say it came out in 2021. I'd have to ask Christy Kelly because she'd be able to tell me in a heartbeat, but I want to say it came out in 2021 during COVID. Okay, but this is a law that changes that. So pay attention. This is about credit reporting, and this is Assembly Bill 2747. And it requires positive only rental payment reporting to at least one major credit bureau. Required to offer positive rent payment reporting every 12 months. Tenants may opt out and may not be allowed to opt in again for 6 months. It allows landlords to charge up to $10 per month if they incur costs to report to the credit bureaus, and buildings with fewer than 15 units are exempt. So what they're doing now is this is no longer low-income housing. It's for anybody that has 16 units or more. Your tenant can now come to you and pay you up to $10 per month if you're incurring a charge to add positive rental payments to their credit history. Okay, it is now the law. And it's across the board. Okay, so for any tenant that wants to add their rental history payments, you can only report positive payments. You cannot report negative ones. Want me to say that out loud? You can only report positive rent payments on this. You cannot report negative ones. Now, ain't that some bullshit? I'm just saying, okay? We get to charge them $10 to help them build their credit, but we can't tell the people if they don't pay us. Huh? Yeah, it sounds like they're building their own credit scoring system for rental properties, in my opinion. And what is this garbage of tenants may opt out and may not be allowed to opt in again for 6 months? Oh, I'm not going to pay my rent payment during Christmas, and then I'll catch back up when I get my income tax refund. So for those 6 months, I'm going to opt out just so you're not gonna, but you can't report negative anyway. So it's garbage. Garbage. It's garbage. Trash. Okay, I'm done kibitzing. Okay, I don't even want to talk about that one anymore. But you
Yeah, but
understand.
they won't have
what-
to pay the $10 for those 6 months while they're not paying their rent during
Lorena,
Christmas time.
louder.
I said they just won't have to pay the $10 for those 6 months that they're deciding not to pay their rent until they get caught up again. That's why they would opt out for 6 months.
Okay, and what you guys just heard was a professional property manager telling you what a tenant's going to do to help themselves with that new bureaucracy and bullshit. Okay? Thank you, Lorena, for your 2 cents. Sometimes I can't say everything I want to.
And Agler is working to get some companies that'll work with us to do the reporting. The
Yes,
smaller mom and
Agla
pop.
is getting companies together to work with us to do the reporting so that they can charge us $10 a month so we can pass that expense on to the tenant. Because you and I can't make any money, but we can pay a fee. Haha. Okay, I got 2 more for you guys. This one's gonna piss off some of you badly, so pay attention, okay? This is Senate Bill 1103, Commercial Tenant Protections. Qualified commercial tenants would be entitled to notice of rent increases, and it imposes civil fines and penalties. You know how sometimes in a commercial contract, we have an accelerated lease clause or accelerated rent clause where it says on the first year, your rent's $1,200 a month. On your second year, your rent's $1,500 a month. On your third year, your rent's $1,800 a month. On your 5th year, your rent's $2,000 a month. What I'm talking about is called an accelerated lease clause. Okay? And it's written right in the contract. This says qualified commercial tenants would be entitled to receive notice of rent increase. And if you don't give them a notice of the rent increase, it imposes civil fines and penalties for failing to comply. What I want you guys to hear right now is somewhere along the lines, we've lost our minds and now we're giving commercial tenants residential rights. What? We're giving commercial tenants residential rights. It's not okay. All of a sudden, businesses are going to be protected as well as a tenant. It's garbage. And just so you guys know, there are commercial tenant advocate groups out there now that are helping commercial tenants with free legal counsel. It's bullshit. And I'm using my sign language to do the bullshit sign in American Sign Language. All right, here comes the nasty one for us, okay? So pay attention. You guys write this down, okay? This is Assembly Bill 2801. And this bill would limit landlord claims for, and to answer whoever, and I think it was Tony that asked, when will this all take effect? It'll most likely take effect January 1. Okay? So January 1, but some of it's in effect right now, but let's just go with our January 1 date, okay? This is Assembly Bill 2801, and it matters to you, so pay attention. I may ask questions later. This is the one you need to be paying attention of, okay? This would limit landlords' claims for deductions against a tenant's security deposit to normal wear and tear, and requires the taking of photographs upon commencement of the tenancy and at the end of tenancy of all items requiring repair and cleaning. What does that law say? You better have before and after photos, before they moved in and after they moved out. Because if you don't, you're not going to be able to charge them anymore. You should be doing this as a business practice anyway. But in the event you want to charge and deduct against the tenant's security deposit, you're going to have move-in photos and move-out photos. And what photos need to be, and whatever required cleaning, you're going to have photos of that also. Without photos, you are not going to be able to charge. That is Assembly Bill 2801.
They also want, so they want 3 sets. They want before they move in, or when they move in, when they move out, showing the damage, and then another one showing that the repair was done.
Arlene, we can barely hear you. So what you're saying is you need 3 sets of photos, and she's right spot on. When they moved in, when they moved out, and what you're charging them for damages, cleaning in detail. You got to have photo evidence going forward.
So, Patty, I'm not quite sure if I understood. You're saying that although they may have caused a great deal more damage, that we're only going to be able to charge wear and tear only? Is that what you're saying?
No, you're not going to be able to charge damage unless you have photos of what it looked like when they moved in, they moved out, and then specifically the cleaning and damages that you're charging them for. If you don't have move-in photos, you can't charge them anymore.
Okay, I have all of that, thank God.
This is a business practice we should all be initiating right now anyway. And if you've been following Widget for a while, I'll tell you, when you move into a property, stand back, get in the corner, take a picture of everything that's right, floor to ceiling. Go stand in the opposite corner of the same room and take the same photo. You should have at least 2 photos of every room in that property from those different angles. And what you're taking a picture of is everything that's right, not what's wrong. That way, if it's wrong when they move out, that's your teeth to go get them. Okay, so our good business practices that we've been using as decades are now becoming the law. Are you guys not seeing that? We've always taken move-in photos and move-out photos so we can plead our case to the judge later. We've always done first come, first serve. We've always, are you guys paying attention yet? All these things that are good business practices for us that we've been implementing for decades are now becoming the law. Why are they doing it that way? Because they're trying to set a standard in the industry that everybody has to follow. And our good business practices are showing us their good business practices, because now I'm able to say, look, we've been doing it right all this time. It became the law. Let's go. Go team. We're doing a good job. But what they're saying now is if you do not have move-in photos at commencement of the tenancy and at the end of the tenancy and of all items requiring repair and cleaning, you're not going to be able to charge.
So this is.
Patty, Linda has a question.
Okay.
What about current tenants and take photos during inspections?
You can take photos during inspections until you're blue in the face. And what that's going to testify to is what the property looked like on that date at that time. But it's not what they look like when they moved in.
But Patty, what about those tenants that were already in the property prior to you being the owner? So what do you do in a case like that? I have a tenant that's been there for 44 years, well before we had acquired the property.
I understand that. And if they put basketball size holes in the wall, you're going to charge them for damages, but there is no wear and tear there.
Right. So, but I'm saying I don't have any before photos. So what should I do currently? Go in there now and take photos of the existing as of today?
You could, just to show, hey, I bought this house. They lived in there for 44 years. But the reality of that is you're only charging them for damages at this point, not wear and tear. And if
Exactly.
somebody's lived there for 40 years, let's face it, at that point, the cabinets and the cupboards are falling apart.
Believe it or not, they're not. She's
But
taking
you
excellent care.
get what I'm trying to say to you,
I
right?
do.
Okay.
So prior to 2012, we weren't taking photos, but after, we had cell phones, but we started doing that in 2012. So we have photos of before and after for all the tenants that moved in before, but the ones that prior to that time, like 23 years ago, for instance, don't have any, before and after. I could probably do the after I have because I do the inspections, but I don't know what to do in a case like that because certainly I can't charge for the wear and tear, but
Correct.
perhaps
And
can.
I could tell you to take photos now,
Mhm.
and I would, and I'm being careful what I say, because please understand what I'm trying to tell you. I'm not an attorney. I don't know what an attorney is going to be willing to argue for you in court. But I personally would take photos now and say to a judge in a court of law, but I was in there on this day at this time and there was no basketball size hole in the wall. I was in there on this day at this time and, there wasn't instant cement in the garbage disposal. And I'm just talking out loud. Okay.
Mhm.
David, in what situations can you deny applications based on negative background findings? Well, in the state of California, sir, I'm just being funny. You can't deny an applicant that is federally funded on Section 8 or VASH or something along those lines that's federally funded. You can't deny them because they don't meet your minimum FICO score. You have to address their application based on their ability to pay you. So for everyone else, you can deny negative background findings as long as they're not Section 8, VASH, whatever. Okay, David, I hope that helped you.
Okay, thank
And
you.
it depends on what you're talking about on the background findings. Because let me tell you something. Felons are a protected class in the state of California. Eviction cases are masked and you cannot see if they've been evicted before. So tell me, what is it that you're looking for in that background?
Because you
It's
said
hiding everything we want to know.
if past 5 years they already served their sentence, therefore you cannot use it against them. There were some exceptions, so I'm not very. I'm kind of confused. What situation you can use the negative reports and what situation you cannot? Just clarify.
You cannot. Well, I'm assuming a negative report. Tell me what you're talking about. Are you talking about they're a felon or are you talking about their FICO score 625?
No, I'm talking about someone that did gun shooting 6 years ago. And
You
went to jail.
cannot discriminate against their criminal history. They have paid their debt to society. They've done their crime, done their time, and now they're free. In the eyes of the court, you have to treat them that way also.
Okay, but let's say he did something wrong like that 3 years ago and he's on probation. What are you gonna do about this?
He's on probation for what?
For let's say, domestic, not domestic, for assault, for drugs.
Assault.
or-
Okay.
yeah.
My criteria on my application says that I don't accept felony convictions for manufacturing of illegal substance. Okay. Or for crimes with great bodily injury.
Regardless how far back, or there's a time limit on that also.
I don't allow felony convictions for great bodily injury or for manufacturing illegal substance. So what did Patty just say? I don't want a rapist, a murderer, a child abuser. That's all great bodily injury. Okay. I also don't want somebody that makes drugs, sells drugs, distributes drugs. And anytime anybody gets busted for drugs, they always put manufacturing on them because a lot of times they're dispersing. So they get them from manufacturing. So usually if somebody has a drug charge on them, manufacturing is involved in that. Why do
So-
I say an illegal substance? Because it could be anything. Okay.
Patty, on that, if it was something like the drug charge from, I don't know, when they were a senior, or not maybe a senior in high school, but like when they were, in college or something, and it's been 20 years later, so then we're good. We don't have to, because I was told that if it's a significant time has passed, you have to consider them. But I don't know what's
They've done their
significant.
time, they've paid their debt to society, and you have to let go of that. So yeah, I would say about 10 years is probably a good thing. They're gonna make it here pretty quickly, you guys, so we're not even gonna be able to do that. Okay? Trust me. They're gonna make it so we're just throwing a dart at an application, and whichever name it sticks on, that's our new tenant.
If something is expunged, are you able to still see it or no, Patty?
If it's expunged, it's not going to show on their record. It doesn't exist. It's like a dismissed case. It never happened. Law enforcement may be able to see it, but you're not going to be able to.
So, Patty, where can we get all of this information in written form? Do we have to? pull up
AGLA.
each one of
AGLA
these
has current legislation and what we're up against. It's on their website.
Okay, okay. So I wanted to know, I know we were not supposed to be able to discriminate against people, Section 8 versus non-governmental subsidized applicants. I understand that. But if you have
Simply said, it's discrimination against source of income.
right, but if you have a client or potential applicant that is non-Section 8 and they come in at the same time, say a Section 8 applicant and a non-Section 8 applicant comes in around the same time, don't you have the right to make the decision that this is going to be a more appropriate tenant that I would like to have versus going with a Section 8er?
If you do that now, you
Uh-huh.
cannot charge a screening fee on
Okay, if I
either
pay-
party.
Hmm?
If you don't take them first come, first serve anymore, you can't charge a screening fee.
So you're talking about the application itself?
Yes,
Okay, and that's what I thought you were saying. But I'm saying if you get multiple applications all at the same time,
there's no way. If they're emailing it to you, they're date and time stamped. And if you're taking them at the counter, you're date and time stamping them as they come in. You have to.
So Patty, we do have the option of taking the strongest applicant. You just can't charge, because I'd be more than happy to give up a $50 screening fee to get a stronger applicant.
right?
But please take one thing into consideration. If anybody applies under Section 8, you can't use their, do you understand? You have to base them on ability to pay. So you just wipe that out from yourself.
I thought I wasn't because I'm not taking screening. I'd rather say no screening fees and then I get to choose the strongest
But when
one.
it comes to Section 8, you can't choose the strongest. You have to base it on their ability to pay you.
Okay, so you have, let's use this as an example. If you have a working applicant that is Section 8, which, you know, is it does happen from occasion, and you're using their income and you're using supposedly the subsidy from Section 8, you have to use that as your income. If that does not comply with what your regulations are, you have the right to deny them, right? Legally.
Your criteria
Mm-hmm.
becomes their ability to pay you. In other words, if your applicant has to pay $20 a month for their portion and they don't have a job, they don't qualify. If your applicant has a job and they make $60 a month or more, they're income qualified. Because they make 3 times the amount of the rent monthly. So you're not running their credit report. You're not basing it on their credit worthiness. You're basing it on their ability to pay you. So now that that one came in, you have to take them first, yes?
I'm not sure, Patty.
The only
I mean,
strongest
I mean,
applicant you can have there is, do they have a job and can they pay me? Yes. Now they're your tenant. So to
But I mean,
read you this again.
No, but if they're a smoker and you don't allow smoking, if you know, if they just have a pet, not one that's supposed to be.
Hold on, I'm going to read you the assembly bill.
Okay.
This bill would allow a landlord to charge an application screening fee only if the landlord considers and approves applicants in the order received. You are not to charge a fee unless the applicant is considered, and not charge a screening fee when no unit is available for rent.
Got it.
In other words, a lot of landlords charge a screening fee to go on a waiting list. Can't do that anymore.
Patty, do you think that Section 8, I know currently Section 8, they only do 1-year leases. Do you think they will do month to month?
Absolutely not.
Okay, well then could potentially be
A
something
no-go.
that we don't have to comply with, correct?
Say your statement out loud, Julia, so it's not me saying it.
We don't know I don't know, like the future of where this property will be, if we'll sell it, any personal decisions. Therefore, we cannot commit to a 1-year lease. Something along those lines.
Okay, you want to see Patty's verbiage? Because I got you guys.
Yeah.
I got you.
Okay, okay.
Patty's verbiage goes like this. I'm uncertain of the future of this property and what it holds. So at this time, I'm only interested in a month-to-month contract. I'm not interested in a term for time. The only place that works is if you're in a municipality that doesn't require it. Example, City of Santa Monica requires a 1-year lease at Hello. I believe Larceau does also. And now other cities are starting to jump on the freaking bandwagon. Okay, I think I want to say somewhere out in the valley, I want to say it's Sherman Oaks, but I could be wrong, also requires a 1-year lease at Hello. So some of these municipalities are requiring 1-year contracts at Hello, okay? If your city doesn't require that you have a 1-year contract at Hello, a month-to-month position is much better for the landlord to be in. Why? Because we can change the rules with a 30-day notice. That's why. We can terminate tenancy prior to them living there a year and not have to pay relocation fees. There's all kinds of little loopholes with a month-to-month at Hello. That's why the municipalities are requiring a 1-year at Hello. It's to govern you. It's to control you. It's to protect the tenant. Patty, how does a 1-year lease protect a tenant? You can't change rules or raise the rent for 1 year. You can't touch them. A month to month is a better position for a landlord to be in with a tenant. Section 8 doesn't accept month to month contracts at this time. They require 1 year. Use that to your advantage until they change the law, and we can't use this to our advantage. You understand? It's only a matter of time before they force us. Force. Control.
So you're saying currently Larso, is mandatory.
Larso, Santa Monica,
We have to
hold
take
on,
okay.
San Pedro, Torrance. Some municipalities currently require a 1 year lease for their tenants at Hello. You cannot put them in on a month to month.
It has to be 1 year, it can't be 6 months.
Correct. Some municipalities are requiring a 1 year lease at Hello.
So, just to ask you a question, I'm not being funny when I ask
I
this
know, and you guys, I know I look funny, but I don't know what happened to my phone. You know how there's a gremlin in my phone, and I have my volume up on full blast, but I can't hear it. So that's why you see me getting close, is I gotta really put my ear up to the phone to hear what you guys are saying.
Is now the time to get the hell out of California? That's the question I have in order to invest in real estate and have and to generate income. Is now the time, because it seems like the more you talk, we are right about only having 2 rights out of 100 rights. And I'm like, I'm so upset right now with just hearing what I'm hearing right now. You probably hear it in my voice, but it is upsetting. And at this stage, I don't want to stress anymore. If now's the time to get out, just let me know.
I have to be very cautious what I say to people. And people ask me that all the time. Why is that, Patty? Because I'm a real estate broker and I'm held to a code of ethics that's very, very high. Okay. And it says that I can't do blockbusting and I can't do steering and I can't do this and I can't do that. So I have to be very cautious what I say. But I will say this. If you are unable to do business in the city that governs you, because you can't function anymore because their rules are too restrictive, you may want to switch and get into an area that doesn't have all those protections. Let me give you an example. Patty did a 1031 tax exchange during 2020 and 2023. I didn't do one. I did about 40. I'm in Riverside County and San Bernardino County now. I do still have something in the city of LA and something in the county of LA because it keeps me on my toes. So I have one in city of LA and I messed up and didn't realize Larso was going to spread like cancer. So now I have 2 houses under Larso. Okay, and 2. That wasn't my goal. It was to be 1. I have 1 in unincorporated LA County and 1 in incorporated LA County. So I'm trying to keep my foot in the pond everywhere. That's how I'm able to keep current with you guys. If I didn't have my foot in the pond, I wouldn't be able to answer your questions so quickly, right? Because I wouldn't know. That's how I know. But the majority of my stuff has been relocated to Riverside County and San Bernardino counties, where we have mayors that don't want rent control because they're also landlords. Where we have less restrictions and less municipalities without so much control over our own investment property. Let me give you an example. San Bernardino County is the largest county in California, right? Definitely the largest in Southern California. The only rent control other than the state law, obviously AB 1482 that's passed, is in the city of Palm Springs in mobile homes. And that rent control ordinance for mobile homes only in the city of Palm Springs only happened back in the 70s. And my little blonde brain says, I know why. That's when all the movie stars from Hollywood were going to Palm Desert. You know, I Love Lucy. Everybody was going out to Palm Springs to hobnob and get away from all the people. I have a feeling there was a lot of concentration because of that additional movie star status that a lot of people went into mobile homes so they could see the movie stars. And there was a big influx of mobile home rentals in that area because of it. And because of that, they gave them rent control. High concentration of tenants, high restrictions for landlords. They go hand in hand together. Heavy concentration of tenants, heavy restrictions for landlords. So what I've found during the COVID pandemic, and that's what brought it to my attention, is because we had all these new restrictions in place. But what I learned was those restrictions stayed along the counties that ran along the coast. Why? Because they're more populated than the counties that are inland. Ah, are you telling me that San Bernardino County went back to business as normal on October 1st of 2022? It wasn't until February of 2023 when LA County tried to go back to business as normal, but then it got re-extended and re-extended. That's why, is because there's more tenants than there are landlords. That's the why behind all of this. In heavy populations, there's heavy restrictions because there's more of them than there are of us. So, do I want to tell you, get out of California? No, don't get out of this business. This business is extremely lucrative. But in the event the city that you're in restricts you to a point where you can no longer do business, move to a different city, right? Just saying. If it's your investment property and not your primary residence, you can do something called a 1031 tax exchange, which means that you're not reassessing tax values and paying all kinds of money or capital gains tax when you sell that property. You're trading it like for a property somewhere else, anywhere in the continental US. Patty, what are you saying? I'm saying if you like to frequent, and I'm just going to throw some stuff out, okay? If you like to frequent Florida, or you like to frequent Texas, or you like to frequent wherever, you may want to buy a second home there and do a 1031 tax exchange. Maybe have it as an Airbnb. Maybe New Orleans interests you. You never know. But you guys need to start thinking, because as they continue to pile more and more restrictions upon us, it's going to be more and more difficult to be financially successful in this industry in the cities that you're in. Like I said, if you don't like the rules that govern you, move to a different city, right? That's what I did. 1031 tax exchange, no capital gains tax. Okay.
So, Patty, would you agree that this has nothing to do with the homelessness? Because, you know, this great, big, beautiful state of California, we have like thousands of acres of that undeveloped acres. If they were really concerned about placing the homeless, they don't have to place the homeless on top of the areas where there are too many people already. Why can't they just take the money that this Weinstein guy is putting behind the yes on Prop 33 versus the no? Why don't they just take that freaking money and go move these homeless people out to the desert and build homes for them if they were that concerned with it? So in my opinion, from my observation, it does not appear that this has a damn thing to do with homelessness. It's just some bullshit, like you said before. Am I correct or no?
How is rent control going to stop homelessness?
Thank you.
Homelessness happens because people fall in a rut, and instead of climbing back out of the rut, they furnish the rut.
Correct.
It can also be influenced by mental breakdown. It can also be influenced by drug use, okay? With those three factors in play, they either need mental help,
Right.
they need medical help, to get off the drugs, okay? And they need to be pointed in the right direction. And if they physically, mentally just don't want to participate in society in general, then house them in a facility.
I agree.
But get them off our streets. It's disgusting. I mean,
Exactly.
let me tell you guys something, okay? I'm going to share with you a little story. On Thursday, I went to the Kings game with Agla. I was invited with board members. I happened to be in Carson that day, teaching at PRC, as some of you may know, and I stayed at my friend's house in Gardena. So had to go to Staples Center, which isn't Staples Center now, it's crypto.com center, whatever. Okay, so I'm leaving from the Gardena area, Long Beach area, and my friends tell me, Patty, don't get on the 110 freeway. You'll want to rip your hair out because we know you don't go 4 miles an hour well. Okay, I just don't handle going 4 miles an hour well. So they said, Patty, hop on Figueroa, take Figueroa all the way up to Chick Hearn. Well, when I got to the event, I realized that all the gentlemen and people that were coming to see me were coming from Beverly Hills, North Hollywood, West Hollywood, the Valley, okay? And they're complaining about all the homelessness that they saw on their way in. They saw hundreds of homeless people and hundreds of tents. Well, I went up Figueroa, and let me tell you, about 110th, 105th, and Fig, that is Hooker Central. And I had no idea. My friend tried to warn me, you're going to see some prostitutes. They run those intersections. No joke. They got Playboy bunny ears on and they're doing their slut strut and nothing but freaking dental floss. And they'll circle cars. If there's a guy in the car all by himself, they'll circle the car in the intersection like a gang member and like stalking him until the signal changes so he can go. I was appalled. So it was funny to have all these people tell me all the homelessness. And I'm like, yeah, I came through Hooker Central. I didn't realize they ran those intersections. I didn't realize prostitution was so socially accepted in some of those areas. I mean, why haven't the cops arrested them? That's disgusting. And why is it allowed? Why is our government allowing this? Why are they encouraging this type of behavior? Why aren't those hookers arrested and put up somewhere? You know, and it's not okay. It's not socially acceptable. It's not okay in this country. And if we're importing hookers, I have a problem with that. I'm just saying, what are these immigrants doing for work? How are they supporting themselves? How are they learning to support themselves? Okay, I'm sorry. I don't want to bring politics into what we're doing, but a big part of what we do is politically generated. So please forgive me for venting my personal opinion. But to answer your question, if you don't like the rules in the city that governs you, get out of the city. I can't change the rules. I can't change legislation. I can tell you what's coming at you, but I can also tell you where it's much easier to do business than where you're doing business now. And for some people, like Miriam's very frustrated with LA and very frustrated with these new rules and how they're losing control. And I get it. But all I could tell you is if you don't like the rules in the city that governs you, get out of that city. If they happen to be the rules of the state that have you so sick to your stomach, then maybe leaving the state works better for you financially. And if that's what you want to do, talk to me about it. Please remember, you guys, I'm an expert in this field from all aspects of property management. Even when you're dealing with mergers and acquisitions, selling a property to gain a property somewhere else, I'm still here to help point you. Remember, I'm a real estate broker. I'm able to say, hey, this makes more sense financially. Maybe you should get involved in a real estate investment trust in another state so that you don't have to deal with the complaints, the phone calls. You don't deal with nothing. You just get a paycheck every month. And if number 42 and number 38 didn't pay their rent, you don't even know about it. You still get your paycheck every month. That's a real estate investment trust. Okay. So when it comes to reinvesting your money, we're talking about, hey, what I'm doing right now doesn't work. What are my other options? I'm here for that. So please feel free to give me a call. I don't want to talk openly on it on this format because not everybody's trying to reboot, reload, and start over. But there are people in here, I think, let me look really quick. Is Christine? Yeah, Christina's in here. Hi, Christina. I just helped her do something with her property. She had a property in Larceau that wasn't financially productive for her. And as we looked at it over time, we didn't see how we were going to recuperate. So we had a conversation and she
got rid of it.
reinvested that money in other investments. Go ahead, Christina. Oh, I thought
I was
she
like, we got rid of it.
we got rid of it and we put that money somewhere else that's more lucrative for you. Yes.
Yes,
Okay. And you don't even have to work anymore now, right?
correct.
Oh, wait a minute. Patty made it so she doesn't have to work anymore? Yeah. Remember, you guys, I'm here to help you like it was my own investment and what would I want? And we have these conversations. I had this conversation with Christina. Hey, you have these options. This might work for you. 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 If it were me, I'd probably go this route because that makes the most sense considering all the moving pieces you have. And then she's able to make a decision that works for her financially because I gave her options. And then it worked for her. It's lucrative for her. It's great for her. She doesn't have to work anymore. I mean, blindsided, right? What if you didn't have to work anymore? I mean, that's
Well,
my
let's set-
goal.
Let's set an appointment so we can talk, okay?
Hey, I'll be at Agla's event in K-Town on the 9th.
seventh.
Arlene was putting my schedule
The
up there. It's a lunch and learn. It's free for Agla members. But I'm here to help you with all aspects of your investment property, not just managing it. Do you know what I mean? I'm involved in mergers, acquisitions, sales, everything. So don't
Well,
feel
let's get
free,
together
don't
and
feel
talk.
afraid to ask me, if you were me and you owned this, what would you do? Because that's what Christina did. She said, Patty, if you owned it, what would you do?
Mhm.
And I sat back and I thought about it and I told her, well, I'd do this, 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 and then I wouldn't have to work anymore. And my husband could only work part-time. And she went, oh, because it makes sense. I mean, sometimes when we know what our options are, it's much easier for us to make an educated decision, right? That's all I'm
Right.
saying. And you guys, that's why I'm here. I'm here to help you go, okay, so you still want to actively manage your property. So we don't want to purchase property in New Orleans because you'll be a jet setter then. Maybe we want to get in Riverside County. Maybe we want to get in San Bernardino County. That way you're only an hour and a half away in the event of a crisis. You can still hire a professional manager to handle the day-to-day for you and you still get a paycheck every month. So yes, if you want to sit down and talk about your book of business, I'm here to help you with your book of business.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Does anybody else have anything? Julia's yelling, I say yes to out of state. West Hollywood requires a 1 year. Yes, so does City of Santa Monica. So does quite a few of the municipalities. And as we continue to go down this road, I can continue to tell you that we're going to get more and more laws that restrict us. And
Patty,
all
I
of
have a
these,
question.
one more time.
I have a question. I wrote it. The first question is, what if you raise the rent, can you raise the same time the pool service or no?
It depends on what your municipality is. And let me explain. If
Okay.
you're governed by a 4% rental increase,
No, it's not.
if you're covered by a 4% rental increase, then the maximum increase you can raise your rent is 4%. If you're included a bill, I'd have to see how your lease contract's written, whether you can do a 30-day change of terms to increase that bill amount, because that's usually how you do that, is with a 30-day notice of change of terms of tenancy. You let them know that the pool bill has gone from $150 to $250 effective December 1st, and that would affect them starting January 1 or something along those lines. So if you're governed by a rent increase maximum on your property, such as 4% or 8.6% or whatever your maximum rent increase is, then you can't increase a bill that would cause, I think it would be considered an illegal rent increase. So I'd have to see how your contract is written in order to answer your question better. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, can I send you my?
Email it to me.
Okay. Thanks. But what if it's what do you call 10% increase of rent and I raised it 7?
If you could have done a 10% increase and you only raised 7%, then you have 3% of an increase you can play with. Example, if that 3% difference is $400 and you want to increase their utility bill, then it would still kind of be considered a rent increase, but you wouldn't be over your 10%. So I would say go for it. But
Oh,
again,
okay.
you have moving pieces that are more than one moving piece. So I have to look at 3 or 4 different things to answer your question correctly.
Okay, that's fine. I'll send you the what do you call lease and then you can tell me.
Yeah,
What you
just
think.
email me your question with the lease and then I'll answer you, because then I'll have the address. I'll be able to look up what the maximum is, what you've already increased, and I can give you a rock solid answer.
Okay, what if I increased a month ago, more than a month ago? I still can give them what do you call it, letter for increasing the pool service or no?
If you're on a month to month, yes. If you're on a lease term, you have to wait until the term is over.
No, it was 11-month lease in 1920. I mean 2020. So
I thought
it's
you
now,
said in 1920. I
No,
was going to go,
sorry.
good God, woman.
no, 2020. And what do you call it? Now it's month to month.
Okay, so it's month to month. You can do a notice of change of terms with a 30-day notice. But again, I have to look at the municipality. I have to look at your lease contract. I have to look at many moving parts before
No,
I can
that's
answer the
fine.
question.
Okay, no problem. So I'll do that. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you.
Patty,
With Larso, I can't even use a month-to-month tenancy agreement. I have to use a 1-year lease
I
agreement.
believe Larso starts on a 1 year. I don't know if they require 1-year renewals. I believe they do. Because a reason for you to terminate tenancy, and maybe it's not Larso, I could be thinking of City of Santa Monica. So don't quote me to this. But what they do is they require a 1-year contract consistently. And if the tenant won't agree and sign to that 1-year contract, it's a reason for you to terminate tenancy without relocation fees.
Patty, I think Larso is just 1-year lease to start, then I think it can go to month to month.
So what I'm talking about is City of Santa Monica.
I don't know.
I know, because I know there's one out there that requires it, and I confused the City of Santa Monica, the City of West Hollywood, and the City of Larso, or anything Larso. When it comes to that particular provision, I have it confused. So you guys there's a lot of stuff in here, okay? And every once in a while, I have something that doesn't fall in the right filing cabinet in my brain. And that is one of them. And I want to say, I know it's the law. I know they have to do 1-year renewals. And if the tenant doesn't agree to the 1 year, you can terminate the tenancy without the relocation fee. I want to say that City of Santa Monica.
Patty, all the assembly bills that we went over today, will that be applied statewide, I guess, including San Bernardino?
Yes, those are statewide. If they're assembly bill, they're not moratoriums or ordinances.
Okay, got it. I mean, I'm really grateful. We have all of ours in San Bernardino, and I haven't had, I'm thankful, haven't had to go through what everybody else has gone through, but obviously the Prop 33, if that passes, was the one that kind of did it for us.
Okay, so you're successfully managing property in San Bernardino County without the headaches and hiccups that someone like Miriam has, where she's doing an eviction for almost a year because the tenant is failing to allow entry, and the court is going, maybe we'll settle this, and maybe we'll do that, and and she's not going anywhere. She's on a hamster wheel going around and round in circles where everything's getting continued for 30 days. And she's spending a lot of money to prove that she's right, but she's not getting any results. We don't have that in San Bernardino County. We don't have that in Fontana Court. We don't have that in Victorville Court. Those judges have not been exposed to all of that yet. So that's something we just don't deal with. And Miriam, you could talk to Julia about that. I'm sure she would tell you, yeah, we don't have that. If they won't allow you entry, you serve a 3-day curable breach of covenant twice with a 24-hour notice, and you're in a solid case there to evict.
And that's the crazy part, because they come up with these tenant protection rights and they tell you that's one of the 14 rights that you have as a landlord. And if they are not participating and they're not obliging and complying with your agreement, that is the one right you can get them out on. That's all that they tell you. They don't tell you you're going to wind up spending $30,000 and going back and forth to court. They don't bother to tell you that they want you to go out there and have a mandatory settlement conference and give them $30,000 cash. They don't bother to tell you that bullshit. So I don't know who we fight, but I have so much fight in me right now. I'd like to destroy all of the government right now because they're all full of shit. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. I don't care what your affiliation is. It doesn't matter. They're all in it for
The
themselves.
system's broken.
It's broken.
It doesn't matter what side of the fence you're
That's
on,
right.
folks. The system's broken.
That's right. And that I had to find out the hard way.
Yeah, and it sucks. I've tried to find a lot of this out the hard way so you guys don't have to.
And I appreciate it too, because I'm spinning my wheels. I thought, okay, I got you. You haven't let me in. You won't let me in. So even when I put the property in the market and I want to show the property to prospective purchasers, I guarantee you this witch with a B is not going to allow me in. So then what do I do?
I'm going to give you a $500 rent credit if you comply with showing the property during the sales transaction.
Then to me, she's won.
No,
So
you
she's
won because you're
complicit-
getting the hell out of Dodge and you never have to deal with the wicked bitch of the West again.
Exactly. You're right about that part.
It's all in perception, sweetheart, because you're winning by letting her become someone else's problem.
All right.
So you put your perception glasses on this way, okay?
It's really a joke, because if they're, meaning the council people that implement this LARSO bullcrap with LAHD, when I call LAHD, the only thing they always defer to you guys is saying, oh, we didn't write the laws, we're just told to execute them. So they're not going to help us. They have no intentions of helping us. And they barely even want to answer a question. So with that being said, it's like, what are we supposed to do? We have nobody really on our side, not one single politician, not local, not state or otherwise. Am I saying something wrong, or is it just in LA County?
It's just in LA.
Oh, is it? Okay. Well, I'm
Julia
gonna,
will tell you we don't have these problems in San Bernardino County. Other people in here will tell you that we don't have these problems in Riverside County. We're just starting to get requests for trial by jury.
wow.
They're not familiar enough with the process. And in some courts in San Bernardino County, they will tell you, we don't do jury trials here. You're going to have to go to the main court in San Bernardino.
Okay.
And then the tenant goes, I can't afford the gas to go up and down the hill to San Bernardino. I'm not doing that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, we still have. You don't have to spend as much money to prove you're right in this county. How's that?
Okay.
How's that? That's how I'm going to say it. You're not having to spend as much money to prove you're right.
So this is hypothetical. So even if the city of Los Angeles and the county of Los Angeles had enough judges, as they're claiming they don't have enough, we would still have the same issue that we're having now of getting deferred 5, 6, 7, 8 times. Is that accurate? I know it's broken, but is that pretty accurate? Even if we had 500 judges, we would still have the same situation.
Miriam, do yourself a favor.
Okay.
Google the process of a jury trial.
Okay. Okay,
You'll answer your own question.
okay. Well, why did all this crap happen after COVID? It wasn't that way prior to COVID.
Entitlement.
Okay.
I mean, the government told them they didn't have to pay their rent for 18 months.
18, I thought it was closer to 4 years.
Well, only in LA County. Everywhere
Oh.
else is 18 months.
Wow, okay.
Patty,
Did
may I
you
say
hear
something?
that?
Patty,
Yeah.
I heard the real reason behind all these restrictions is also the fact that they want landlords to change hands, sell and go. And so the next landlord has to pay higher property taxes for the benefit, of course, of the city and the whole county of Los Angeles.
Okay. I wouldn't disagree with that statement. I mean, let's face it, if you guys sell, they get to reassess taxes on a new value coming in, right? So there's more money in the city for them at that point, correct? I don't disagree with the statement you made.
Can you just, throw something out there right now, Patty, because I'm running really close to my expiration date on my insurance on one of the buildings. Can you tell me who would be, because everybody I'm talking to is saying they're having a hell of a difficult time getting insurance on their multi-unit buildings. Can you refer someone to me that would be good? Even when I have inquired and put in applications, they are 2 and 3 months to get back to me. And when they get back to me, they're just getting back to me to ask more questions. I'm not hiding anything. So who would you recommend in the Los Angeles area for the liability insurance?
Homewell.
Homewell?
Uh-huh. And I don't know if Arlene's still in here, but Homewell, and if you can put the link to the guy in here, if you can't, email me and I'll email you his info. But I played golf with him a couple times. Great guy. He's been able to insure quite a bit of our owners when they weren't able to insure themselves. Even multifamily dwellings. He's even done some insurance oddities for me where we've insured jewelry that wasn't covered under an owner's policy. So just a private insurance policy for jewelry. So he is pretty good. He's with Homewell. I'd love to rattle off his information. If Arlene has it available and she is available, she will type it in the chat there for you, or you can email me for an insurance reference. Okay?
I'm looking for it, Patty.
I'm sorry.
I'm trying to get it for you.
Okay, thank you, Arlene. Arlene's awesome in getting you guys this information and the links right in here. She's great with that, and we thank you for helping us, Arlene. We all need to realize that we all work together as a team here, and anything you guys can do to help all the rest of us is greatly appreciated.
Patty, I have a question.
Yep.
If I'm doing a new contract in the city of Los Angeles and the owner, he wants to say that the rent in this unit is 2,500 for a new unit. And so the owner wants me to put the base rent to be 2,300 and then $100 parking and then $100 water. Okay. That way the base, he can always like make, I guess, the parking every year he can raise the parking and et cetera, et cetera. Is that not correct?
In city of LA
And LA County both.
and LA County,
Uh-huh.
if you're charging separately for the parking,
Mm-hmm.
I would put the parking on a commercial contract, not attached to a residential dwelling.
Okay.
That way, any increase I'm trying to do on parking isn't affected by my residential restrictions.
Okay. And where would I get a commercial contract for the parking?
Agla.
Okay. All right, and so then on the residential contract, I would just put the $2,300.
Parking is not included.
Okay,
Patty, I'm not sure Agla has that. I tried finding it, but I may not have looked in the right place.
Okay. And in all fairness, you guys are looking for a month-to-month commercial contract for parking, period, end of report.
okay.
It
And
can
then,
be as simple as a one-page commercial contract.
okay,
Doesn't have to be in depth. Okay, you're only
Okay.
providing parking, but look at it as commercial, not residential. And this
Okay.
does not work if you have a door that connects from the unit to the garage.
got it.
Can't charge separate for parking if they can walk from their unit into the garage. It is attached to the residential dwelling, okay?
Okay,
Just saying, a lot of people tried that. I'm like, you can't do that. They're connected. They're on the same tax bill. No.
what about on units that are like, the
That's
units
like
are,
saying you're going to charge them extra for the bathroom in the master. It's connected.
what about in a, like, where units are upstairs and the garages are on the first floor? The building is connected, but there's no door that accesses, is that still okay?
Absolutely. It's separate. There's nothing that connects.
Yeah, there's nothing that, I mean, yeah, it's for their floor is the.
A great
yeah,
example was me telling you charging extra for the master bathroom.
Right,
It's
Okay.
connected.
now
Can't
on the,
charge extra for something connected.
got it. Okay, so on the contract, I'm putting, if it's $2,500, 100 for rent, 100 for utilities or whatever. I'm putting the base 2,300. I'm doing a separate commercial contract for the $100 parking. And what about the utilities? I put that all on the contract, on the
You
regular.
can put that on a residential contract, absolutely. Make sure that you put on the residential contract that parking is not included.
Right, I got that.
And if
And-
there's a parking provision in your standard contract, remove it.
Okay,
And Arlene is giving the insurance reference right here for our insurance guy. And you tell him Widget sent you because he does extra special work if it's for me. And if he doesn't, I call and give him crap. You got it? So use me to your advantage.
okay,
And
Patty.
you guys, if you're signing up with Agla or you're signing up with any vendor, ask them if they have a widget special or a widget discount. A lot of them are doing that now. Take advantage of it. I can't use it. You use it. Okay. Agla has a widget special. PRC has a widget discount. Anderson's Carpet Cleaning has a widget discount. There's a lot of companies, and I'm actually going to get a preferred vendor list. Would you guys like that on my website so that you can
Yeah.
go on there and see
Yeah.
who I use for carpet cleaning, who I use for restoration, who I use? And then if you call them and tell them you're a member of Widgets Way, then they give you a discount. I don't get to use those discounts. They're there for you guys, so utilize them. And
Yes,
if
I
you're
would like
calling a
that.
new vendor and asking him if he has a widget discount and they go, what is that? Tell him who I am. Maybe we can make a bond and a connection that's going to help you down the road. Just saying. We're in this together, guys. You're not alone.
Patty, I have one more question regarding what we were talking about.
Okay. And again, I'm sorry about my ear, but my phone has a gremlin in it today. It's Halloween time, right? What you got?
No worries. Okay. Also, how do we put in the contract, like, if if we keep getting issues with the plumbing because they're putting things down that they shouldn't put down the drain and stuff like that, that we're going to charge them. But like, how do you specify this in the contract?
There's already a clause in your written contract if you're using CAR forms, CAA forms, or AGLA forms that clearly states about damages done by the tenant and how it could be plumbing damages for not using the plumbing properly. And some of it even goes into depth and breadth about flushing wipes and things of that nature and feminine products. Not just wipes, but wipes and feminine products. So what I'm going to tell you is review the verbiage in your lease. If you
Okay,
don't like what it says, screenshot it, take a picture of it, send it to me. If it's AGLA's, I'll talk to general counsel with Dan and see if we can't tweak that a little bit to help you better. Okay?
okay, all right.
We're a team, you guys. Come on.
And I have some info because I had that with my tenant putting all those artichokes and stuff down that required thousands of dollars of plumbing. And I got them to use their renter's insurance, and it paid a portion of it for them.
You guys pay attention to that. Remember when I tell you if the tenant has renter's insurance, sometimes you get to hit the easy button in more ways than one? Arlene just gave you a great example. That's tenant caused damage if they're putting artichoke hearts down the garbage disposal. And who in the hell would do that anyway? I love artichoke hearts. Okay, I'm just saying. I'm being an ass, I know. But what she's saying is that was now deemed tenant caused damage, and she was able to file something with their insurance. Hit that easy button. Tenant insurance is your friend, not your enemy.
I agree with you, but how do you force them to get it? It's in the contractual agreement. They've signed, they've agreed. The same witch that I've been complaining about, writes me that I can't afford it. And this has been her, she agreed to pay for it. She agreed to get it. And once she got in, I'm not gonna do it. So, how do you deal with that? Because I have a few that will play the game. They'll get the insurance. Let me see it a couple of months, and then they cancel it. And how do I know? The insurance company sends me a cancellation request by the tenant. So how do
And
I?
I then send that cancellation request along with a 3-day curable breach of covenant because it's a material breach that their policy is being canceled for non-payment. And then they can decide at that point whether they're going to allow me to evict them for a material breach or if they're going to go ahead and get new insurance and get me listed and get it all taken care of. Now, Miriam, this comes back to how much money are you going to spend to prove you're right? Because in your neck of the woods, that's not an argument I would put through an eviction trial. But I'd do it hands down and twice on Sunday in Riverside and San Bernardino.
So you're saying just leave it alone?
How much money are you going to spend to prove you're right?
Well, it's multiple things that's wrong with her. It's not, that's just it in a nutshell, not allowing me in, places.
Right. You have someone that needs to be rebooted and reloaded, or you
Yeah.
just need to turn a blind eye to them, or you need to get out of the rules that govern you because you're unable to do business in the
Right.
city that you have investment property in because of the governing parties, whether it be the judges in the courtrooms, whether it be the municipalities that make the rules against you, whether it be whatever. So my opinion is when it gets that dark and dirty, get out of Dodge.
Okay. Yep, no insurance.
And
not
that's
allowing
just me
in.
talking out loud. Like Christina can tell you, she came to me. Somebody said something on Thursday, and I remember who it was. It was Ronally. And she said, man, I called Patty up crying one day, and everybody in the audience started laughing. And I thought, why did they all giggle? Why did they all? I know, because everybody's called Patty crying one day. That's, they all related. They immediately laughed. Well, I got a question. How come I can't call you guys crying? I'm just playing. I'm just playing. But I thought it was cute because everybody in the room chuckled when she said that. And now I know why. It's because everybody feels we've all called Patty crying. That's why I'm here. I'm here to help you. I'm here to talk you off the edge of the cliff. Okay?
Mhm.
We're a team. I'm either going to lay down on the ground and cry with you, and I've been known to do that. Okay? I am human. Or I'm going to say, I know what to do. I have a way. Have we thought about this? Can we do that? So I'm here to help you. Don't rip your hair out. Don't bang your head into the wall. And don't max out your credit cards trying to save your asset. Okay? There's a loan for that.
Okay, okay.
Patty, are we
No,
still doing
no
a
meeting
meeting tonight?
We are not going to do a meeting tonight because it's the final game of the World Series, and I figure people will be involved with that. Plus, everybody's getting ready for Halloween. So what I was going to do is I was going to table our nighttime meeting until the first of the year. I think it would be better off that way because look at it this way. Right now we're dealing with the World Series and Halloween, okay? Next month we'll be dealing with everybody dealing with Thanksgiving. The following month we're dealing with Christmas, New Year's, right? So unless something comes up with the legislation when voting happens, if 33 passes, I will be doing a cocktails and conversation in the month of November. I'll let you know when. We'll put out a big thing. But other than that, I'm going to table that until the first of the year unless you guys see a serious need for it. Let me know.
Okay.
And my dog is snoring.
Oh,
One last
And-
question, Patty. Can you still not move forward with an application for bankruptcy? And yeah, I guess just for bankruptcy. Or if someone, one of the attorneys had said they
Stop
add to.
yourself. Stop yourself. Just let me say what I can say about bankruptcy, okay?
Okay.
If your applicant says we're filed bankruptcy and that bankruptcy is open, anything can be added to the bankruptcy. Just hear me out. I'm trying to talk to you, okay? So you sign a lease contract in an open bankruptcy and they immediately put that lease in the bankruptcy and now you have to go get a relief, start an eviction, get a relief from stay from bankruptcy court so you can proceed with the eviction even though they filed bankruptcy. What did I just say? $60,000, the eviction word, right? Yes, that's what I said. The eviction word. Where's the key? Where's the loophole, Patty? Give me the caveat that's going to help me here. Bankruptcies that have been discharged. Once it's discharged, nothing else can be added to the bankruptcy.
But my criteria is no bankruptcies at all. So therefore they wouldn't, the application wouldn't qualify, correct?
Bingo.
So including Section 8?
No, because you have to base it on their ability to pay you, not on their credit history.
But if they check mark it on the application, isn't that an application question, not a credit question?
I think it would be a reason for argument, and I would be asking my attorney if that's something that they're willing to argue in court. If they're not willing to argue in court, then I'm not going to put that on my criteria.
Okay, thank you.
See how that worked? See how that
Yes.
worked? You understood the big picture.
Got it, thank you.
Because you're asking me a definite question and I know how I would answer you, but I'm not arguing it in court for you. Make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So that becomes a question for your counsel. What are they willing to argue? What are they willing to express themselves on and how are they willing to go that route? Make sense?
Yes, it does, thank you.
Okay. And somebody else tried to ask a question at the same time a while ago. Did that question ever get answered? Because I don't want anybody to be left in the dark.
Yes, I did have a question, and this regarding a tenant that I see that has allowed someone else to move in without permission, obviously. And what I need to know is when it's coming up for November, do I block his ability to pay rent and issue him a 3-day notice to perform or not? But what is it I issue first to this tenant that has allowed his brother to move in?
3-day curable breach of covenant for unauthorized occupant.
3-day breach. Okay.
And then my question becomes, how much money are you going to spend to prove you're right?
I don't think that he's gonna go that direction. I have a couple of reasons I'll share with you offline as to why.
In other words, I'm not telling you to not manage the situation. I'm telling you by all means, manage the situation. Because if that scares the crap out of him and brother moves out, you did your job successfully. But I'm also trying to tell you, I don't know that I'd base an eviction off an unauthorized occupant more so in today's society.
So just let him stay? Really?
Hang on a second. Okay,
Okay.
and just hear me out. Okay.
Mhm.
During COVID, we couldn't evict for unauthorized occupants in LA County because of COVID.
Right.
Okay. And then they came up with this stupid BS moratorium or rule that said if they notified us that they had an unauthorized occupant because of COVID on or before March of this year, that we couldn't evict them for the unauthorized occupant because they took them in because of the COVID pandemic. And because of that, those people aren't homeless. And that's why LA County said, kudos to you. So because he took his brother in and didn't make him run homeless on the streets, how's the courts going to rule? I can't answer that. I don't know.
Hmm.
It's an argument I'm not willing to have. Will I have that argument in Riverside County? All day long. In San Bernardino County? Twice on a Sunday, but not in LA. I don't want to spend that much money to prove that I'm right. Am I
So
going to
I-
manage the situation and try to deal with it the best I can and do what's right, good ethics, right? Because you have an unauthorized occupant here. I don't know how that's going to rule at the end of the day. I don't know how that's going to come out for you. So would I file an eviction? I don't think
Would that-
so. Depending on what my intentions were and what was going on with that property, and there's a lot more moving parts there I'd want to discuss. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I hear you, but can I increase the rent if I decide to take an application on that brother and I accept the application on that brother? Can I increase the rent? Because obviously my utilities are gone up.
Well, you're allowed to do the rent increases according to statute.
Yeah, I did my rent increase for the year already. That was back in May or whatever. But I'm saying that that has nothing to do with adding somebody in there that's causing me more wear and tear on my infrastructure. And
Well, if
more,
you're going to add someone in there, then I would do a new contract at a new rent amount because you're
Okay.
negotiating a new tenancy.
Okay, and then if I do a new tenancy, I can increase the rent, right?
You understood exactly what I was saying to you.
Okay, okay. Okay, thank you so much. I'm gonna use that one, okay?
It creates a whole new tenancy. And what I could tell you is watch out if you have a higher security deposit collected already. Because by you creating that new tenancy, you could be wiping out that higher deposit.
So I would have to return it to him? You're saying, I do have 2 months of security deposit. So you're saying.
There's the caveat right there. So if you
Mhm.
negotiate a new contract, you have to refund that overage in the deposit. So you need to determine from a business perspective what makes more sense.
Okay. Well, security deposit is one time, rent is until they leave. Right?
I would refund the deposit and take the higher rent, but that's just me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I would refund that. and then put that
Again,
into-
I said it's a business decision that you have to make of what makes more sense to you.
That makes more sense, generating more revenue because this guy is in and out. And you got another guy that's in there that is, I don't want to use the word poo-poo, but if you have somebody that's going in and out of your unit
Stop.
12, 13 times per day, all through the night, you happen to see him on camera stealing people's bikes and storing them what do you do? That's why I'm saying these tenants have lost their freaking minds and they think they can do anything they want. And we just sit by hopelessly and helplessly, not knowing what to do anymore because we're doing what we've always done for 35, 37 years. And
Have you seen my shirt that says "Make criminals afraid again"?
I know I haven't seen it. I would love that, but they obviously don't care anymore.
And
But
I'm not trying to be political. I'm being dead freaking serious. Okay.
yeah, I agree with
I
you.
don't care who's running for presidential candidate. We need to make criminals afraid again. It's
Exactly.
bullshit what's going on in this country. They're not afraid of nothing.
Yeah, this guy is going out every night stealing. He leaves with nothing and he leaves with
They're
1 o'clock.
they're
comes back
running in
3:30.
stores.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're running in stores that I
Yeah.
wished I could shop in on a weekly basis. And they're
Uh-huh.
stealing things I don't even own.
Mhm, mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Uh,
But just
I would love,
Patty,
I would love to own a Louis Vuitton purse one day. I really would. Okay. But I'm capped out at Kate Spade.
Patty, my question is to you, another question. What if you got a late payment? Can for like rent, how much can you charge for a late fee?
It depends on what your rental contract says. Fair housing recognizes 7% as being a traditional late fee. I recognize 10%. Why? Because it's a deterrent. It's a deterrent to make them pay the rent on time until we collect it, and then we're price gouging because it's more, we're collecting more than what our bank charges us as a late fee. So here's what I could tell you. Collect whatever they give you. Take it, but don't turn around and serve them a notice that they owe you a late fee, especially in LA County where late fees are so heavily arguing right now. Right now, if you do an eviction in LA County, your landlord, your legal
Yes.
counsel is asking for a copy of your ledger. When you send them their ledger and it says late fee, they send it back to you telling you to remove all the late fees from your ledger. Why is your legal counsel telling you to do that? Because late fees are being heavily argued in court right now, saying that we're price gouging, saying that we're making secret profit. And the reality of what they're saying is true. But my argument is, no, it's a deterrent.
So
doesn't
for
matter.
example, I agree with you. For example, like last month I got the rent late and I asked her, please include next month late fee. What if she doesn't send me what do you call it, late fee? What
You're
do
not
I
going to
do?
do anything about it. You can't serve them a notice and enforce them to pay that fee. I don't suggest it in today's society. So if they don't pay you, just keep a rolling balance of what they owe. In the event they vacate, you're going to deduct that from their deposit amount. In the
Oh,
event
okay.
you go to trial for any reason, you're going to
Mhm.
remove those late fees from your ledger anyway.
Oh,
It's a huge area of argument currently under the courts. We're probably going to lose them across the state. No joke. Okay. Until
right.
that happens, collect them if they give it to you, but don't try to enforce it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And that's
I
just my
got it.
opinion.
No, I
So-
got it. I understand.
So
Okay.
basically, what you're saying regarding the late fee, if your contract says that there is no a 3-day extension to pay and it's due on the 1st and yet you're always getting it on the 4th and the 5th of the month, is that considered late? Because you don't have
Okay.
what is the
What it says there usually is rent is due on the 1st of the month, and we're giving you a grace period of blank days. Sometimes it's 3 days, sometimes it's 5 days. It all depends on you guys. Before your late fee applies of $100. Wait a minute. What did I just hear? The rent is due on this day, but if I don't pay it before that day, then I get a late fee. So your grace period has to do with when your late fee is applied to your account. It has nothing to do with when your rent is due.
I don't have a grace period. I made
I
that
don't
clear.
either. I got
Yeah.
rid of it. You know why? Because if
Yeah.
they don't pay me on the 1st, on the 2nd, I want to be able to attack.
So under Larso, somebody was telling me, and it wasn't anyone from Larso, that you can't charge a late fee. So is that accurate or not?
It is a huge area of litigation and contention right now, especially in LA County. I am telling you, if your tenant pays you the late fee with their rent, collect it, smile and say thank
So
you.
this
Do
person
not
does,
serve them a notice and go after that late fee. It's not worth it.
I got it. But this person continuously pays on the 1st and I get it 4 days later. You know, I can't get it on the 1st if you're putting it in the mail and postmarking it on the 1st.
If
So
it's
I'm just-
postmarked on the 1st, they mailed it timely. You cannot charge them a late fee based on the postmark.
Well, look at the date on the check.
The check doesn't matter. Look at the postmark date. It has to do with when it's postmarked.
So I have to consider that as being received on time because they stuck it in the mail on a Friday, on a Friday at closing. I have to say that I
If your
received
late
it.
fee applies on the 5th and it's postmarked on the 4th, they're not late. Even if you don't get it till the 11th. And it's bullshit if your tenant works somewhere where they have a postage machine.
Right, right, right. So that means
So
I never
I
get a
just
late
want
fee.
you to understand what you're up against so that you don't lose the argument.
So even after that person has moved out and everything, so there's no applicable late fee that I can charge as long as it's postmarked on the first. I just want to make sure I understand. I don't get it until the 5th or the 6th, but I'm not entitled to a late fee.
Correct. You know why? They're
No.
going to ask you to produce that envelope when you go to court. They're going to look at the postmark.
Wow.
If it's postmarked not late, there is no late fee because they mailed it timely.
But if
It's
they didn't,
bullshit.
yeah, it is. So if they mail it on the 2nd, and the 2nd is a Saturday, okay? They mail it on the 2nd, then that's late because I'm certainly not going to get it until about the 5th.
If rent's
Yes,
due on the 1st and the 1st is a Saturday, when is rent due?
Is due on the 1st, and it's a Friday. Let's say
If
it's due on
rent
the
is
1st.
due on the 1st and the 1st is a Saturday, when
Mhm.
is rent due?
Monday,
When is it delinquent?
unless it's a legal holiday.
When is it
And then it's
delinquent?
Tuesday.
Bingo.
Wow.
We can't
Hmm.
count weekends and holidays anymore on when the rent is due. It has to be, sorry, someone is blowing up my phone. Sorry. It has to be after. It has to be when it's delinquent, not when it's due. And if it's due on a weekend or a holiday, that doesn't count. Its first business day is when it becomes due, and it's not delinquent until the following business day.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and I'm looking up, Patty, please tell everyone I have another appointment. Thank you for today. You guys, that's from Ronnalee. And I'll get my vendor list up on the website for you guys, because I think that might help you, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, anybody have anything else? I'm thinking about doing something really weird. I'll let you guys know. I think I'm gonna have a raffle for a purse.
Ooh.
Ooh, just let you guys all put in. I think I'm gonna do that. I think I'll do a
Okay.
little cute. Oh, is everybody into palm fronds? You know, like the palm tree. Let me see if you guys can see this. Hang on. Let me get your personal opinion. Can you see it? Oh, can you see the palms?
Michael Kors. Yes, that's nice.
Yeah, Michael Kors. I think I'm going to put that up on the website for a raffle today. Sound like fun?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a widget Merry You know what? I'm going to wait till next week and then I'm going to do it. And I know how I'm going to do it and why I'm going to do it. And it'll be cute because next month's my birthday. So I'm going to give you guys a gift for my birthday. That's how we're going to do that. But I'm thinking you may be able to use it for like Christmas, for one of your staff members, or for one of your tenants even. And it's authentic Michael Kors. It's not fake, I promise. I don't do fake. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to talk to my web guy. You guys are going to see this up there. I think it would be a cute little way. And it's new with tags. It's got all of its foam and packaging and, you know, there's nothing weird about it. It's all new. Oh, you can't see because of my stupid filter. But yeah, I got a cute little Michael Kors bag. I'm going to put that up on the website. Yeah, I think that'll be cute. I'll put that up this next week. I want to wait till November 1st before that goes up. That way it's a November thing. All right, guys? If
Thank you
anybody
very much.
needs anything, feel free to reach out to me, email me,
Thank
call
you.
me.
Bye-bye.
And I'm here if you guys need anything else, okay?
Thank you,
Thank you so
Patty.
Okay.
Thank you. I know I'm gonna put a vendor list up on the website. I'm gonna email my web guy right now. Yeah, let's put this Michael Kors bag up there. I think that would be great. Do like a little giveaway. A holiday giveaway. All right, guys, you guys have a great week. If you need me, let me know. There's gonna be some changes coming out on the website. You guys are gonna see emails for that. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you, Patty.
Bye, everybody.